Welcome to Talking Shop and SFX Podcast. I am Kim Lunning here with Andy Schoneberg.
That's me.
Yeah, our Chief Academic Officer. And today we are talking about House of Wax.
House of Wax.
Andy, what did you do on House of Wax? Did a whole lot.
A whole lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bigger show than I thought it was going to be.
I know we've talked a little bit about that in a few episodes already.
Yeah.
Kind of like the unexpectedness. So like going into the project, what did you expect?
I just thought that it would be shot the way that most low-budget horror films that I've worked on have been shot, and that's that they just kind of flash by the effects and they don't really dwell on them much.
Yeah, they just kind of like, just for the quick little jump scare or,
Right.
Scream.
But this director, his shooting style is such that he puts a very short lens on the camera and gets that far away from the effect while he's shooting. So they needed to be real well done.
Yeah.
It takes some time to cast and seam and mold them so that they look really real in that extreme close-up.
Yeah.
There was one effect that we did of the cheek gets pushed in and it stays indented.
Yeah.
And that took a little while to figure out, and we got it all done and demonstrated it to the director, and he thought it was great. And we walk in on the day, and he has the camera so close to the dummy that you can't get your fingers in there to manipulate the cheek.
Wow.
And we're like, how are we going to get our fingers in there? Well, I don't know. Can we back the camera off? No, that's where I've got it placed. Okay.
So what did you guys do?
Kevin Wasner got his fingers in there
As close as
best
possible.
he could and manipulated it around. But it was kind of a fun thing to figure out because we knew that we were going to need a thin skin for that area of the dummy head, and it had to be backed with something. We were messing around with some clays, and sculpting clays are much softer in Australia than they are in the States. And they had this clay that looked like Sculpey, but it was super soft.
Okay.
And I was doing something with that, and I went, Kevin, what about this? And he felt the clay, and he went, oh.
You're like,
good.
oh, that feels nice.
And you could see his mad scientist brain start working, and he built a little mechanism that had a fiberglass back plate that went in against the skin, and then a gap in that, a little tray that we filled with clay, and put that whole mechanism back there and supported it, and you were able to distort that area as much as you wanted to reset it. We had a vacuum form of the face, and we just put that back on and pressed it all down.
And then it
screwed all
molded
the
right
clay
back
into position. Yeah.
So you guys were actively building effects while
Oh, yeah.
you were filming the movie.
Yeah, Shannon came down for a visit about halfway through production, and he estimated that we rebuilt about 83% of the effects on the movie.
Oh my gosh.
On location.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. To do that while you're filming the movie was a little daunting.
What are some of the other effects that you guys had to rebuild? Because there was a lot of like dummies, a lot of duplicates. Did you guys also do the like dummy animals as well?
No, those were done by the wax department.
Okay.
They had a wax department headed up by a guy who had worked for Madame Tussauds.
Okay, cool.
So he knew wax, and they made a bunch of sculptures and molds and cast the heads and hands in wax and put them on dummies and did the whole thing. They did all the ancillary figures
Okay, good.
for the show. We did
Like the principal actors.
we did Jared Padalecki. Here was how things went on this show. I fly into Australia, which is a 16-and-a-half-hour flight, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And they just assume that I've driven on the opposite side of the road somewhere in my lifetime, and I never have. So they give me written directions to the hotel, say, okay, well, you're all checked in here, so get a good night's sleep, and we'll see you on Wednesday. I said, Wednesday? It's like Friday. And I said, why Wednesday? Oh, it's Anzac Day. What's that? Oh, everything is closed. It's like your Independence Day. Oh, okay, so I got here the day before a holiday.
You're like, great.
Yeah. So I said, I need to talk to the producer about and director about the Paris Hilton thing, the pipe in the head, because I'd like to test that on her. And they go, okay. we should test the knife in the neck gag too. And I'm flipping through the Rolodex in my head and going, knife in neck, knife in neck, knife in neck. Okay.
You're like, what?
So I'm thinking, I got to read the script for looking for the knife in the neck now. I'm thinking the whole time, I got to get back to my apartment so I can get checked in there and start putting this, piecing this together, you know. Because I'd heard about Paris getting a pipe in her head and a pipe out of the back of her head. Mm-hmm. And we'd rigged a thing for that and other stuff, but I didn't recall knife and neck. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a new thing that had been added in some of the rewrites.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. As a result of that, I have nothing there to build this knife in the neck gag.
Yeah.
But I figure I can take care of that after Anzac Day. I'm getting ready to leave, and the producer says, great, so you can test the makeup on the villain. Mm-hmm. And I went, I just need to test fit the dentures on him. Yeah. Oh, we'd like to see the whole makeup. Okay. And you can test the thing on Paris Hilton, great. And we'll test the knife in the neck. I'm like, when do you want to do all that? Oh, Wednesday. Because they're thinking, as they should.
Yeah, that it's already.
That it's all built in a box somewhere. And it's not.
Oh, God.
And everything's going to be closed. Mm-hmm. Then I don't know what we have in storage. And I don't know how to get back to the
hotel and everything.
The hotel. And I don't know how to get from the hotel back to set to look through the lockup and see what we've got there. I said, okay, I'll go back. I got to go to the hotel so I can get checked in. Mm-hmm. But someone's going to have to drive there and I'll follow them.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, okay. So they're driving, I'm following. Mm-hmm. And we got all the way back to the hotel. We're a block away from getting into the driveway and going to park my car. And I'm going down the opposite side of the street, not the wrong side, the correct side there. The opposite side. And I'm thinking, I just got to be, the road was narrow and I didn't want to be sticking out over the line. And I got a little too close to the parked cars and just exploded a mirror off of a BMW.
Oh, no.
And the girl who drove down there in front of me stopped and I stopped and she said, I'll just leave a note on the car. She left a note on the car. And I asked her near the end of production, I said, did the Mercedes guy ever get a hold of you? Never heard from him.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. Cool.
So then, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make this neck gag. There's a life cast of the guy's neck. So I got some super glue and some fiberglass cloth and Vaseline the live cast and laid fiberglass cloth on it and hit it with super glue and made a neck plate for him. Yeah. Then there was also a neck appliance, which was good. So someone knew about the neck gag. I didn't. But there was a neck appliance. So I decided where the blade was going to go in, and I made a cut. And I built a dummy syringe, or a dummy knife, not a dummy syringe, but it was built out of a syringe. I built the knife handle out of a syringe and the blade out of a paint stick. And put them together, and they slid over each other like they should. So I affixed the knife blade to the plate and the giant handle for it. And that's what I put on the guy for the test on Wednesday, was this makeshift
little blood gag knife in the throat.
And what happens in the scene is that the killer has a scuffle with this guy. He ends up with a knife in his neck on the ground, and the killer walks up and puts his foot on the knife handle and shoves it down into his neck. Yeah. I told them at the test, which they were very pleased that I had that there. I said, so this will, of course, the knife will match the prop knife. I just haven't gotten the prop knife yet.
Yeah.
So I showed him that, and I showed him the makeup for the killer for the end of the movie when he's revealed.
Yeah.
And that didn't pass muster, so we had to redesign that.
How did it look originally? Because the whole thing, he has like the wax face on over the. So was it the reveal or was it the wax face?
The reveal. Yeah. This director just he was a real perfectionist. He had a vision and he wanted to do that vision. It was his first movie and he wanted to make a big splash. So we would show him things and he'd go, no, that's all wrong. Well, what do you want? Well, I'm not sure.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
that's hard.
You show me things and I'll tell you if I like them.
You're like, cool.
Yeah. So he was a great guy, though.
Yeah. I mean, and also if the budget's covering it, that's fine.
Yeah. So the producer kept coming to me and saying, we got to get this nailed down. We can't let him go on like this forever. We did finally, what I did was I called Howard in the shop, but Howard wasn't in the shop. Howard was in New Zealand filming Narnia. Greg said, well, what do you need? I said, I'll tell you, it couldn't hurt to have a couple more people here.
Yeah.
Because Howard sent me over here by myself after he told me that they don't send people alone to set anymore. And I just rolled with everything. It was my first job working at K&B. And I thought, I'll just do whatever I need to do to make them happy.
Yeah.
So I called Greg and I talked to him. And I said, I could use a couple of people. He says, well, I said, how about Dave Grasso? Mm-hmm. And I've known Dave for years, and I love Dave. And I said, yeah, Dave would be great. Send Dave. So Dave comes, and Dave flew the 16-and-a-half-hour flight, and they deliver him right to set.
Oh, gosh.
And he was just going to say hi and go to his apartment and get checked in and go to sleep. And I said, if you don't mind hanging around here for just a minute.
Yeah.
I said, you can see what's going on, how the set's working. And so we were doing this gag on Alicia Cuthbert, where she gets her finger snipped off. And I had already shot the bit of the fake hand coming up through the grill and getting the finger chopped off. But this was putting a little appliance on her finger.
So it was like flat.
And then painting the rest of the fingertip green so
Yeah.
that it could be green screened out. Again, with the camera this far away from it.
Yeah.
And the director, I can see the seam. I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. You're like, oh, no wonder. You're very, very close.
Yeah, nobody shoots stuff this close.
Yeah.
He says, well, I'm shooting it this close. I knew that we were going to need a lot of time to figure out effects, and we were still designing the killer's makeup at this point. He was in the mask, but not... And the reveal of the mask was pushed to the end of the movie, because that's when the reveal is anyway. We did a lot of takes on that. When Dave arrived in Australia, I was doing a test on Brian. So I had him help me finish up the test. And then they photographed it, and we took the makeup off, and they said, can you go down to tend to Alicia's wound? Okay.
Yeah.
Only because it's Alicia.
Yeah. I know your feelings about Alicia.
Yes. So Dave came with me, and we did that. And he stayed until we wrapped, and then we went back to the apartments, and he followed me
On the way back?
without incident.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then eventually they said Kevin Wasner, who you didn't know up until this point.
He was great to have on set, and he was a really cool guy. He was super fun. He worked
And with
out
his
well.
mad genius, mad scientist
genius
that he is.
He loves figuring stuff out. So I'd go, Kevin, we got a shot that's this. And he'd go, okay.
Yeah.
He'd disappear for 20 minutes and come back with it built. And you go, where did you get that? Oh, I just built it. Okay.
All right, cool.
So we'd film a test and show it to the director. The director would go, perfect.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But that was the show that I learned that you can have a great effect. And if it's not staged properly or photographed properly, it really can impact the caliber or the quality of the finished effect in the movie. And that was where we tried to get things shot a little further away and to get some perspective on it.
Yeah.
And we'd do things that we'd think were beautiful. And then we'd get to set on the day, and they would have done something that made it impossible to get into the effect. They'd put a flag there and a camera here. And
Oh, gosh.
you're like,
How are we supposed to, actually make it work?
We got to be able to access the effect.
At what point did Kevin join you guys in Australia?
I want to say we may have been about halfway done on the movie.
Okay.
There were a couple of notable things that happened on the film that are stories that you can tell that only happened on this movie. For the finale of the movie, we were shooting on the newest soundstage on the Warner Brothers lot in Australia. It was stage 8, I remember that. And the director said, I want you, all departments, to bring everything you have to this stage because I don't want to be waiting around for things. I want them to be right there.
Yeah.
The costume department had all of their stock there, and the makeup department, and everybody had everything with them. Stunt wigs and all of that stuff for various things. They start shooting the scene, the end sequence where it's
They're fighting and
they're fighting.
and chasing and all of that good stuff.
Right. Jama's concept for this was that the House of Wax is not a wood and brick structure that surrounds these wax figures. It's actually a house made of wax.
Yeah.
He said nothing looks like wax except wax. So they made the set out of 1/4-inch plywood that's sprayed with wax, and then a little antiquing. And the way they were making it burn was they were spraying oil onto the wax and lighting it on fire.
Okay.
And I said, isn't that like a big candle?
Yeah.
The 1/4-inch plywood is the wick, the wax is the fuel, and the flame with the oil on it is trouble.
Yeah.
And we burned down the soundstage, long story short.
What?
They actually, no one was hurt, fortunately.
Yeah.
But Brian, the villain, told me when they were leaving the stage, they were running off the stage, and the cameraman's got the camera on his shoulder, and he's running off the stage. And all of the heating elements above them, the heaters, were exploding as they were running out of the stage, exploding over their heads.
And then all of your stuff was in there too?
We didn't take our stuff. Well, we took the one thing we had, which was the dummy of Jared, which had already been shot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, everything. Everything
Well,
went
I'm
up
glad
in
that
flames.
no one was hurt, but
Yeah.
what an experience.
My kids were visiting at the time,
Yeah.
and I walked around the corner of the production building with my youngest, and she looked at stage 8, which had flames coming out from between the roofing and the side of the roof. She said, is that supposed to be like that? I went, no, that's a big trouble. And right about then, the producer, Herb, came just flying around the corner in a golf cart, and we did a roll call out in front of the stage with the stage in the background burning down while we're doing that. It was pretty nutty, but that's one thing I can only say that about that movie, and I haven't run into anybody else who said, yeah, we burned down a soundstage.
That's great. How did you guys do the effect with, because I thought it was a fun little thing with Jared's face peeling off and like them, like, was that the one that like they had to like poke at?
We had 2 of them.
Yeah.
I think it was built very similarly, so it could have been used as a backup to the other one. But it was just a thin skin on that, and we had people playing Jared's hands. Yeah. And they clawed it up and got everything out of there.
How was it killing Paris Hilton?
Well, killing Paris was a blast. When Paris was first on the movie, I did. We were shooting this old sugar mill, and there were pipes and chunks of metal on the floor and stuff like that. And so rather than have her run around in bare feet, we put foam prosthetics on the bottom of her feet and blended them in on top. And so I did that a couple of times. And then she didn't want them. I think they were just an annoyance to her to have someone tending
something on the bottom of your feet.
Yeah. It's weird to have shit glued to your feet.
Yeah.
But we were all in there on the day that, it was the first day that Brian worked in the killer mask and the full look. He had a mask on and a wig. And I did a gag where the end of it, one of the other effects artists at the shop showed me a thing that was just telescoping plastic shells with a balloon inside of it. Okay. So when you blew it up, it looked like a pipe coming out the back of her head. And I thought that was a really innovative approach. Yeah. I didn't have to use it because we had a dummy head that we just put on a spike and just shoved it down. Yeah. And that worked well. But for the thing coming out of her forehead, I thought, man, I want to get that as lightweight as possible. And I was trying different things, and I found a piece of silicone that was from a sprue tube, and it had a little indented kind of suction cup on the end of it that happened naturally. And I thought, I wonder if that'll stick to my head.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it and I put it on my head and I let go of it, and it stayed there. And I was showing all the guys in the sculpting room, I'm, hey, check this out. And they're like, wow, how'd you do that? I said, they just stuck it on my forehead.
Yeah.
And I took it off and they all started talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What's going on? And one of the guys goes, you should go look in a mirror.
Oh, no.
And I go look in a mirror and I have a huge, perfectly circular hickey
Oh, gosh.
on my forehead.
It was really stuck on there.
Which I had to cover with makeup for about a week while it went away.
Oh, gosh.
But we ended up doing a vacuform shell with beautifully tied lace eyebrows and a thin gelatin appliance. So I put the appliance on, blended it down with witch hazel, and, first put on the vacuform, which had a small piece of pipe about 1.5 inches long.
Coming out of it.
Yeah, it was made out of lightweight urethane. It's poured urethane. It was really nice because we put that all on and put the gelatin piece on, get everything blended, put the eyebrows on, and then she just had this short pipe sticking out of her head, which was an annoyance for her, but nothing compared to the big pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were able to just keep that off of her, and then when we were rolling, I'd go in and put the pipe on.
Was this her first movie at the time?
I think so.
Because I know that eventually she did Repo the Genetic Opera.
Right.
Where like her face was like peeled off and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think this was like one of the first movies I'd seen with her in it.
I think it was, yeah.
For the final reveal of the killer, how different, because obviously you spent a lot of time redesigning it throughout the process, how different was the makeup from what you guys originally had to the final piece, and like how can you talk about like what those differences were?
It's the first time I worked on a movie that had a makeup in it that was part CG and part practical. All the early attempts, we were trying to do a makeup that was additional, of course, with the appliances, that made it look like his face was caved in on one side. The director was never convinced. He said, it just looks like what it is to me.
Yeah.
I said, well, it's hard to build something up and make it look like it hasn't been built up.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, I think I want to go CGI on it. We did a couple of designs. Dave did one and I did one, sculpted them overnight and painted them and showed them to the director, and he picked Dave's. That was cool. I mean, at least we got to design it.
Yeah. Any other major effects that had to be changed throughout the process of filming?
We managed to get most stuff, especially once I had the full team there. Most stuff right. Kevin was great because if you didn't have time to do it, you get in the morning and they go, hey, what about the blah, blah, blah effect? And you go, there's a blah, blah, blah effect.
Oh, no.
And I go, Kevin?
He's like, I'm on it, sir.
Yeah. So he was invaluable and continues to be on set wherever he is. There was a thing, where a guy gets his head cut off by the killer.
Yeah.
And that was a combination of digital and practical stuff.
Because he was still blinking and moving when his head gets cut off.
Yeah. And his head kind of rolls to the side. And when the bad guy takes his headless body out of there. Yeah. That was kind of cool. And that was obviously just film stacked on top of each other. With the dummy body and the things switched out on certain beats and all that stuff. So that was fun to play with all of that stuff and have the director say, no, it just needs to be this. And we go, oh, how about if you do this? So that was a nice experience of combo effects.
Of working together. And like for the visual effects and the practical effects to really come together as a team to figure out how to get this done. And so it actually looks good.
And I started off with kind of a bad attitude. I thought, great, now I have this angry relationship with the director.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I want to have a nice, cordial relationship with the director.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of production, and we're doing a shot that requires some reset time. It may have been the shredded cheek. He said, how long is this going to take to reset? I said, 45 minutes. 45 minutes? We don't have that kind of time. I said, well, I can maybe do it in 40 for you. He said, if you guys do it in 15 minutes, I'll buy you a case of beer. And Kevin goes, I'm game.
Let's try to figure this
So he
out.
goes in, and we had it done in 15 minutes,
Hey.
the reset. And it was a complicated shot. It was a complicated reset. And we got it done, and he bought us a case of beer.
Nice.
And we had a much better work relationship with him after that.
That's good.
Yeah, because he saw we were trying, and we were trying to stick it to him.
Yeah, it's weird sometimes because, like, obviously when you work in, like, a normal work environment, you get to know your coworkers. I mean, like, I feel like that even happened with me and you. It took me some time to warm up because I'm a really shy person. It takes me time to warm up. On set, sometimes you don't always have those luxuries, so you kind of find yourself in those little awkward tension moments, but you kind of, you know.
Yeah, or you may be totally unaware of them and think things are going fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Because people, you know, it's hard to read people sometimes.
Yeah.
Something kind of popped into my brain, and I'm trying to find the correct way to word it. Because obviously there is a lot of on-the-fly thinking and stuff, and, like, a lot of adjustments. And I think it's so common for artists to really, like, get attached to what they've already built and what they see in their head. And the reality of this industry is that they don't get to do what's in their head. They have to do what's in the director's head.
Right.
Do you have advice for, like, our students or people that want to get into this field, or, like, how you've kind of processed and let things go over time? Just because, like, something like this, you're like, oh, no, this is what it's going to look like. And then they get there and it's completely different.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing we never understood about this director was that he started talking about when we were doing the actual practical application for the tests, he started talking about, no, it's scar tissue is fine. It should have scar tissue. English is not his first language either, so he had trouble communicating, I think, just finding the right words. But he kept talking about hollow and that kind of word, and I was like, not quite getting it. But he wanted to see a real caved-in look on the face, as though something had been removed from there and they couldn't reconstruct it.
Yeah.
Really listening to him and trying to figure out what it was that he was wanting on the makeup that he wasn't getting. Because we did 2 tests, like I said, and they were not successes.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't like them.
Yeah. It was my first show for K&B, and I asked Howard what they wanted me to be, how they wanted me to be on set.
Yeah.
I said, should I be in the mode that I'm just going to give them whatever it is they want? He says, oh, yeah.
Okay.
I said, okay. So that was my approach to production. But it did lead to building 83% of the stuff there and having Shannon come down and go, why are we building all of these things? And he saw the way things were going down there and he went, oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing I did on that show that I shouldn't have done was to go in there with my attitude of blazing, you know, like the Old West. And that's not fair to the director. And it really changed my attitude in all the films I've gone to set on since then. You're there as a makeup artist. Brian Pennick is very big on saying that makeup artists frequently have an overinflated opinion of how important their job is on set. You are a person who's there to do what the director wants.
Yeah.
And so you go in, you attend the meetings, you find out what the director wants to see from you, and you do that.
Yeah.
You know, Howard Berger says, anymore, I just want to ask the right questions to get things done quickly so that I can go home.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good attitude. You don't have to.
Definitely. I know I've told some of the students here, I'm like, get ready to not do what you want to do, essentially. I was like, always have like maybe a kitchen table project, something that you want to work on creatively, but once you're at work, you have to make sure that you are doing what the director wants or production or whatever, you know, is running the show. Have you ever been in a situation where like, maybe it was in House of Wax or maybe it was in another film where there was something approved by production. It was the drawing. You did it exactly, looked exactly like the drawing. And then they're like, oh, I don't like that.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
Well, and there were times that you'd be looking at a sculpture in the shop, and back in the old days when the producers and director used to come by and look at things in the sculpturing phase and all of that, and they'd gather around it and go, I'm not seeing this. Like, you got this on the drawing, but it's not up there. Why is that? It's there. It's just maybe you're not seeing it in the right light and all of that. So.
Well, thank you for talking House of Wax with me today, Andy.
Sure.
Really fun horror movie. And yeah, you got to kill Paris Hilton and burn down a multi-million-dollar soundstage.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in practical effects, always follow our pages on social media. Also, if you want to learn, please visit our website at cinemamakeup.com. Again,
come take a tour.
Yeah, come take a tour. Look at Andy's IMDb page, see what movies you might want us to talk about next. And yeah, as always, we're here every Monday, so bye.